Hey guys, it is King Jellybean. I am all alone today, as you can tell. In fact, that I'm out of town and I'm all alone, which is a double factor because nobody is here today with us. One, because I couldn't get a hold of anyone, and two, because a lot of people are out of town right now, including me. I'm just out of town for the weekend though. But as you guys know, Raven just left this. She's probably already left by now. Headed to Europe. Easton is still not back from camp, and studio was busy today, so I decided to go ahead and do a stream myself today and do something a little different. Now, as you guys know, the Change Project is always constantly updating, and tomorrow I'm going to be having a video coming out on here about the updates that I have chosen to do. Nobody else's really word except mine at this point because nobody really agrees with me on this stuff. But it's gonna work. Now, with that being said, if the dog barks, I'm sorry. I do have a dog where I'm at right now, and this is not going to be that very long a stream. Now, as you guys know, one of the updates that we're going to be doing is instead of doing a topic each month, a topic each week, and that stuff, we're going to do multiple topics within the week, do multiple topics within the month. And I thought we would go ahead and do a topic, a short little topic, which is not a short topic. It's going to have a bigger topic later on in the Change Project. But I've been doing a lot of research today on this specific topic of racism, racial discrimination, and profiling. And I thought, I'm in the mood to do a stream today, and I tried to do one on my channel, but I thought, why not do one on the Change Project channel? Because I know today I didn't get to do anything on my channel, but maybe tonight at 9 o'clock I'll go live on my channel. Now, I know a lot of you guys are not going to be watching this live because this is way too early for us to be going live today. But let's get right into this topic. Now, as you guys know, a lot of these statistics that you find, they have been going down. And I haven't really looked a lot today, but I need to do some further research about how even this topic is not as big today as it was. And of course it's not. We had slavery and everything else in this country and in this world, not just this country, guys. That's one thing you got to realize too. There is still slavery going on today in other countries, still going on today, which is a huge problem. And I need to do some more research on this topic specifically, including with a bunch of other topics that's all going along with our update. But I thought I'd come on here alone and do a podcast. We do a lot of podcasts on this channel. I've had people ask me why I don't do a lot of video. One, because my video doesn't really work good much anymore. I don't know why it's not doing it, but it's not. And two, because of the factor that, I like doing podcasts like this. People are able to see our icon, and that's really all that matters. We don't have to show our faces a lot if we don't want to. And anyway, though, hello to the I don't even know how many people are watching right now. Hold on, let me look. Hello to the one person watching. Let's get right into this though. So I got some facts here on racial discrimination. Now, this is a drug fact. So this topic really does lead into other topics as well, and that's why I wanted to do a stream today. And I wasn't planning on doing one today at all, but I wanted to do one today just because of the factor this is still a problem. All these problems are still a problem, and as long as there's still a problem, we're going to be fighting those problems. So here's the first fact I've got for you guys. I've got 11 facts to tell you all, but here's the first one. African American, and this includes, this is just African Americans, but racial discrimination is not just African American people. It is all races. Even us, even Americans get discriminated. So whenever I'm talking about this topic, don't just think about African Americans. Don't just think about other races. Don't just think about, any of that. Think about all races. You know, Examples being a African American come here or anywhere in the world and get discriminated, as well as everybody else as well. And I keep forgetting the names of all races. Like I need to write them down because I usually just say color, and I don't like to do that because I don't like to say colors, but I'm gonna say them, so don't take it offensively. If a African American black person were to go somewhere and get, um, wow, I just completely forgot what I was gonna say. Were to get discriminated, as well as if someone who's Italian could go somewhere and get discriminated, or someone who's white could go get discriminated. It is a huge, wide race thing. Now African Americans have been subject to a lot of it though, and here's the first fact: African American compose only 13% of the US population and 14% of the monthly drug users. Now, there is a huge percent of drug users, and only 14% of the African American population in the US um, use them. But 37% of the people arrested for drug related offenses in America are African Americans. Now, what does that mean? Let's talk about what that means here. Now, that doesn't just mean hello, everybody. Hello, Michelle. I hope that's how you say your name. Hello to the now two people watching. But what does that mean? That does not just mean, oh, they do drugs, they get arrested for it. And this goes to another part of this topic. And the part is that I've heard stories of people walking into stores and getting the police called them just because of the color. I saw a "What Would You Do" show the other day about a African American being in a very expensive store, like $600 jackets. Disgusting. We should not be selling clothes for that much money. We need to figure out something. That's another topic for a later day. But anyway, though, he was in there just minding his own business, and it was a "What would you do?" So it's all fake, but this stuff is very real. And the manager or one of the workers was discriminating him, was profiling him, was having him patted down over and over by the security. This stuff happens in real life, guys, and I'm not joking when I say that. It doesn't happen, I don't think, as more often. Like I said, I gotta do my research because, like I say, these are pre-topics, and this goes along with the update for the Change Project that comes out tomorrow. um with all new videos coming out and all new Inamotos and stuff talking about what we do, because I need to go get brand new statistics again. I need to go get all this new stuff because our old statistics are wrong. They've changed, and I need to talk to Easton as soon as he gets back about getting that fixed. But anyway, though, this is a pre-topic. And we do have a lot of these. These come out randomly, and I'm telling you they do. Some days I feel like talking about bullying, some days I feel like talking about this, and today it's racial discrimination. But with that being said, let's continue on. Now, the same case for if someone, there is places where a lot of African Americans are. Now, I'm giving examples on several different races here. Um, and a white person, an American person, could go into those areas or into a store where there's a bunch of them, and they could also get discriminated. The same with all other races. I'm just trying to think of. I'm just going to start saying all races because I cannot think for the life of me all the names, and I don't want to get anything wrong. I don't want to accidentally say anything wrong because I'm just don't have all the names written. It's not that I'm undereducated at all. It's just the fact that I haven't wrote them all down today. But that comes along with the update, like I said. But this goes with any race at all is can get discriminated just like that, and it happens a lot more in America than it does in other places where discrimination is very huge. And it's not just racial discrimination, which we go into another little topic here. It's more of every kind of discrimination. Um, from the factor of your hair color to your shoes to stuff like that. That goes into bullying, which is discrimination. It really is. And if you don't agree with me, well, I'm sorry, but I'm right. Any type of discrimination, which is anything like that, it's discrimination. Now, with that being said, if you guys want to come on the call, let me know. I'm allowing a couple people to come up today, even though I'm alone. But with that being said, that is the first. Now that leads into our first fact here. That fact, it's a fact, of course. um, but the thing is that, like I said, a lot of people are accused of doing something. As you guys know, Angel Munez, a good friend of mine, um, he tells people do not make assumptions. And if you're watching this, Angel, hi. Um, and I say the same thing. We make assumptions about races. We make assumptions about people. Like going down the street, and this goes back into bullying a little bit here, but it's part of racial discrimination as well, which is why I say bullying is going to be a huge topic where we're going to go into these specific discriminations with this. You can go going down the street and be like, oh, that person stole something. How do you know that? And just like in the What Would You Do episode, they were like, you know, um, we need to pat you down because I'm sure you have something in your jacket, or I know you're not going to be able to pay for that. And it just makes me so mad because it's like, why would you do that? Why would you accuse or make an assumption of anything? And this, I know today we're talking about racial discrimination a little bit, but it's assumptions and stuff, and we're gonna have a talk about that. assumptions and accusing. Accusing is a huge thing. People accuse people all the time, and it gets people in big trouble. There has been people who have murdered who didn't go to jail because people have made assumptions about one person, and next thing you know, because of our justice system, that person goes to jail instead. That and you're like, oh, our justice system is this and this and this. Look it up and do your research, guys. It happens way more often than you think. Just because it doesn't happen as often anymore, it still happens. And that's where this change project thing comes with. Is just because it happens doesn't mean it won't happen again. You know? That is our big thing here. Is just because it happens, it doesn't mean it's not going to happen again. And that's a part of our update. A part of our update is that new little topic, and we'll be having an episode on that specifically very soon. And I call all these episodes. But anyway, back to the racial discrimination specifically. We have another little fact here. Okay, this is our second fact, talking about police and blacks or Latinos. Studies show, and this is in America, by the way, none of these are around the world because I need to get some more of those too. Studies show that police are more likely to pull over and frisk, which is like pat down and search and stuff, blacks or Latinos than whites. In New York City, 80% of the stops made were blacks and Latinos, and 85% of those were, oh gosh, I cannot even speak. And 85% of those people were frisked, which is searched and stuff, compared to a mere 8% of white people stopped. Yeah, that is a huge thing. Now, just because you get pulled over doesn't mean you did anything wrong. There are people who just pull you over to do checks and stuff. That does happen. Make sure you have insurance and stuff. I do agree with that. But then, whenever it goes as far as them searching you because of your race, and I'm not saying that everything is because of race, these facts are just facts, and we got to compare them to the truth as well as this. And it's the truth. 80% of them are white people, and we know that white people do a lot of wrong too. We know it. We know it happens. Just look. Don't look at the news. Do not watch the news, guys. The news has a big part in racial discrimination as well. I know someone who worked in the news. Hashtag at video call-in show. Jim, hey Jim, if you're watching. Um, Unexpected streams. He used to work in the news business, I believe. At least I think that's what he said. Guys, my memory is shooken right now. Anyway, though, but like I said, the news has a big part in a lot of these fears. Like I talked to you guys about last night actually, with Raven's stream, that they have big fears. It has a lot to do with racial discrimination, drugs. It has a lot to do with a lot of things because we are shown the bad things only most of the time. 24-hour news cycle, guys. And with that being said, we see more, and I haven't watched the news in a long time, so I don't know I know that I've heard, you do see a lot of white people getting in trouble on the news as well as blacks, but for some reason, sometimes you see more, and I think that's why we've gotten this thing. That's the reason slavery came around, was because black meant evil in the dictionary, apparently. And because of that, we were like, oh, they're evil. We automatically assumed. And that's where I'm going with this, is assuming. And there goes my dog. Oh, guys. Hold on. Give me just a second, everybody. Sorry. So sorry about that, everyone. He saw a cow or something. I'm on a farm right now, and he's probably going to start up again. Every time he starts, I'm just going to mute because, I'm not going to delete this stream over this because, it's a dog. We got to deal with it. It's life, everybody. It's life. Another topic for future, though. Anyway, with that being said, please don't bark. We're going to continue on here, just muting and unmuting, basically. But it's really weird on how, just because, assuming something is the worst thing you can do. Just like, you could watch the news and you could see somebody robbed a grocery store, not a gas station, a day ago, and people assume, oh my gosh, my gas station's going to get robbed. That is a possibility, but just because the news did a story on it doesn't mean that it's a big huge thing, guys. Things happen, and that's why these problems exist, not just because of the news and stuff. That's not what I mean, so don't take it like that. These problems have happened forever. They have. Ever since gas stations been around, I'm sure people have robbed them. It's a problem. Yes, something we could get to a little bit later. But with that being said, it's been a problem. And just because all of a sudden the news is coming up with all these stories about it, doesn't mean it's going to be happening a lot more often. If you watch the news and you see 3 or 4 stories on this within this, look it up yourself. Look up statistics only, though. Do not be looking up, channel 255.0.1 news. Don't be looking up that crap. Look up statistics, and that way you can see what are the statistics of robberies. And the same thing with racial discrimination. If you see, you know, oh, this white person did this, or this Italian person did this, or this Latino person, this white person did this. Look up your own statistics. Look them up, research them, and don't do the fake sites. Do the real sites. You got to get yourself credit. Guys, I did it for 7 years researching and stuff like that and learning. And it would only take you a couple weeks to learn a bunch of the statistics I learned. I did it because I was going to be doing the Change Project. Racial discrimination is a massive problem in this country and in this world. And it's not, and I call it a massive problem because it is. Everything's a massive problem if it's a problem. Suicide, gun violence, child kidnapping, child endangerment online, drugs, homelessness, all those are major problems. Just because they don't happen, ow, that hurt. Just because they don't happen as often as they used to doesn't mean that they still don't happen. So that's your lesson today. But your second lesson is do not discriminate. And I'm probably going to change the title. In fact, I'm probably going to change the title right now. But there is so many things. I don't even know what to call this title, actually. I don't even know what we should call it. I'm trying to think here of what we could call this. But with that being said, like I say, racial discrimination and discrimination itself is a huge problem. And we're going to go ahead and change this title here. What should we call this, guys? Okay, I don't even know how you spell discrimination anymore. Okay, I think that's how you spell that. Yeah, okay, got it, guys. Sorry about that. Discrimination. Comma. And next week we're going to be having a pre-topic about motivation because, as you guys know, August 1st, that goes into it. Sorry about this, guys. I'm just changing the title. Pre-TOP topic. Okay. Sorry about the little wait here. We're just going to save this now. Okay, so we titled it Discrimination and the Things. Of course, I messed it up. I love how I spelled that wrong, and my grammar thing didn't even look at it because I'm trying to hurry up. Funny. Anyway, though, so discrimination and the things that goes into it. That should now be the thing that, yeah, that should be what is now what's it about. But anyway, though, oh yay, it says, are we still live? Yes, we are. Okay. I tell you guys, I'm so confused today. But let's continue on talking about this big problem here. Now, with that being said, hello to the 0 people watching, I believe. Yeah, 0 people watching. If you're watching this after it's live, make sure to hit that like button. Let's get this video to 10 likes because that shows us that you guys really care. But we really don't care about the likes. So anyway, though. So I just changed the title, Discrimination and Things That Goes Into It. Now, in the beginning of this stream, we talked about racial discrimination specifically, and this is a pre-topic. Now, this is not our first topic, guys. We start out with smaller topics and then get into the big topics. But your life lesson today, your big life lesson, is not to discriminate. Your big life lesson is today is that just because the problem is not as big as it used to be doesn't mean it doesn't still happen. That is our new motto coming out tomorrow with the update. That is one of our mottos now. Just because it doesn't happen as much doesn't mean it doesn't still happen. History repeats itself. Slavery has happened forever. Still happens today. Maybe not in this country, but in other countries. There are so many things that go into racial discrimination, bullying, because discrimination is bullying. You got profiling, you got assuming, you got assumptions, you got all this stuff that goes into this specific topic, which is why it's a pre topic. Guys, we're going to be having a whole episode on assuming and assumptions of why you shouldn't do that, because that's one big reason that goes into discrimination. You go down the street, you see a person walking, and you're like, oh, they're homeless. Oh, they're just wanting money to go get drugs and cigarettes. How do you know this? Are you God? Like, this is what I think whenever, if my family does this, I'm like, are you God? Do you know? Like, I don't say it out loud, but I think it in my head. I'm like, do you know how they are? You must live with them for a long time to know how they are. That's the things I want to say to people. Not to be rude, but it's the truth. You cannot assume people are away whenever you don't even know them. I've been in places where it's happened. People are judged. People are stuff. I've been in school. I go to public school, for crying out loud. It happens every day. And people wonder why suicide happens. People wonder why people are the way they are sometimes. People wonder why school shootings have happened. People wonder, when I say school shootings, don't take this wrong. Never take anything I say wrong, because I always have explanations if you try to come back at me with like, oh, you're doing this and stuff. Change Project is very careful and very right about the things they say. I stand behind it 100%, not just because I'm the owner, but because I've done this myself. When I say school shootings, a good percent of school shootings are not always caused by, people who might have a mental illness and stuff. Some of it is also caused by just the factor of being bullied. People who are bullied, who might already have a mental illness, and as you guys know, those things can affect, how you work and stuff. But not just that, a lot of it is because they are bullied to a point that they just think that there's no other way to stop the bullying other than to take it out on them. And people say, oh, they deserved it. Nobody deserves death. Nobody. I mean, there are some cases, but right now, that's what I'm saying. Nobody deserves that. But at the same time, a good way and school shootings don't happen as much anymore. Yes, they've happened in the past couple of years quite a few times, and I feel like my dog's about to start barking, so I'm going to get ready to mute just in case he does. Sorry to the one person watching or the people watching after the stream. If you guys start barking, I'm going to mute because I don't want you guys to have to suffer. Yeah, he's going to bark. But anyway, it's a thing that a lot, and it doesn't happen as much often, but it still happens. It still happens, and it's going to happen. But a good way to maybe drop the percent even more is to not bully. Do not lead into this discrimination, this assuming, this stuff that leads into this stuff that we're going to be talking about this year. Because school shootings, suicide, drugs, homelessness, stuff like that, they're all connected. If you guys don't do your research, you're not going to know. But if you do your research and you learn about these topics that we talk about and these other little topics, you see how they're connected through humans and through different things. And discrimination is a big, big connector. We got one side of just assuming something, and we got one side of, bullying and actually causing someone to, do the unimaginable, whether it be school shooting or suicide, for crying out loud, guys. And I know I'm being very blunt and very honest, but this is the point that I'm at, because these topics, they're going to be blunt because they have to be. We can't just come in here and be like, oh yeah, it's a problem. We got to be coming in here and be like, yeah, it's a problem. What are you going to do about it? And it's not to be rude to you, because you're not the person doing it. If you're watching this and if you're a part of the Change Project, then you're not the person causing these problems. The people are. And if you're watching this right now and you've done this, if you've bullied someone, if you've made fun of someone, and some people bully because of their insecurities, because they are disappointed in themselves, so they take their somewhat. Oh, I think I just heard my parents pulled up. Give me just a second. Okay, hopefully you guys can hear me. I switched to my earphones just in case they walk in. If they do walk in, I'm going to help them because they were at the store, so it'll be a 5-minute break, and then we will get right back into this. Now, I think they are about to walk in. So I wish I could see, but I can't really see outside right now because I'm sitting in the way I am. Guys, this stuff happens. I'm not gonna cut it out because this is real life. These are examples of life. Something as simple as having to wait. You cannot make a change instantly. And that's something different about the Change Project is that, we just let it happen. Whatever happens in these streams, they happen. There's nothing we can change about that. Because why go back and edit that out whenever that's just a learning moment or that's just a moment? You know what I mean? Hope you guys can hear me well. But let's continue. Now, with that being said, if you guys could let me know if you can hear me, that would be wonderful. I might just go ahead and unplug my earphones. Oh, that scared me. My dog just jumped up. Oh, that really scared me. But anyway, though, back to what I was saying. These connectors, it's like a big web, and the center of it is discrimination. What does it lead to is the webs. It's like the spider weaving the web. It's like us, I'm going to say us because we are all human. We are all children of God, of course. We are all made the same just because we look different. So I'm going to say us because I'm not going to blame anybody. I'm going to blame the people who have done this to people. Yes, I blame you. But I'm just going to say us for now. Is like us weaving the webs to these other things. Discrimination to suicide, discrimination to just bullying, discriminations to all the way to school shootings and doing drugs. You might not realize that they're connected, but they really are. And if you don't realize it, then I'm sorry. And there goes my dog. Hey, 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 hey. Please don't bark. Please don't bark, please. Don't want to have to mute. 5 seconds, guys. Okay, he might not bark, but we're just going to see. Now, guys, I will be going live at 9 o'clock my time, most likely, or a little bit later on my channel tonight, hopefully, talking about this same thing, discrimination and what goes into it. Pre-topics for the Change Project, pre-topics for myself, because if you guys didn't know, on my channel, I do these exact same things. I do these exact same topics and stuff, and yes, I'm like, hey, the Change Project's the one who's doing also, I'm the owner of it, of course, but I'm like, the Change Project is the promotion for this. I'm going to promote the Change Project because that's what we do. But I bring it to my channel first because I wanted people to see, the stuff that we should care about. And people are like, oh, I could care less about that. Why is it important? But it's like, just because you're not, people are like, oh, you have to be into that sort of thing. You got to be, oh, I think my dog's going to bark. Uh-oh. You have to be into that sort of thing. No, you don't. You don't have to be into making a change. Humans do not like change. They really don't. But some change has to happen. And just because you're not into doing all this stuff, you don't have to. You don't have to come up here and talk. You don't have to watch us every single second. You don't have to do all that stuff. But you need to be aware of the problems in your world, how bad the problems are. And this is for everyone. Because if you're not aware, it's just like being aware of your surroundings. You wouldn't want to be put somewhere blindfolded, would you, not being able to know who's around you, where you are, anything. That would frighten me, and I know it would you too. Now imagine this. Imagine you're in somewhere and you don't know what's happening. You don't know what's going on. Just imagine. It's the same exact thing except a little bit different, guys. Imagine you're going somewhere blindfolded because you don't know who's around you, where you are, or anything. The same exact thing as imagine being in the world, not knowing anything. Not knowing what's going on other than just watching the simple news. And if you watch the simple news, then you're going to be like, oh, this world's terrible. This world's going to die soon. This world's going to happen this world's just going to keep getting worse. No, it's not getting worse. It's actually getting somewhat better. It really is. Yeah, global warming and stuff, that's another topic though. But still, this is not. Then, you can't be like, oh, the world's going to happen. No, don't be like that. If you're a human, you need to know these 3 things. What are the problems going on in the world? What is going on in the world? Well, these probably five things. What's going on in your world? What are the problems in your world? The statistics, and you need to do these two things. Figure out how you can help change, because maybe you don't have a time. But it doesn't have to be for all these problems. Just be nice to people. Say hey going up the elevator. It's not that hard to be like, hey. Simple little things that you can do. Like if I'm going somewhere, if I'm in the elevator or I'm going up the stairs and I see someone going down the hall, I'm like, hey, how are you doing today? Or if I don't have time to say that, like, hey, or I like your shoes or something like that. Just something, it might be awkward, but that's a little something you can do. And once you start doing it, you'll get used to it. Oh, and there are my parents. Well, with that being said, guys, I'm going to end the stream here. This is a continued subject to happen on my channel tonight, so make sure to head over there and watch the full stream on King Jelly Bean. But with that being said, guys, I hope you all have an amazing day. Remember, just because it doesn't happen much anymore, it still happens. Change starts with you. Hashtag United Not Divided. Don't just talk about change, do it. And I'll talk to you guys soon. For now, goodbye from King Jelly Bean, and remember, discrimination, the problem is never over, and we are going to continue fighting. Head over to my channel. I'll put a link in the description. Head over to my channel now and subscribe, King Jellybean, and so that way you don't miss tonight's stream. And if you're watching this afterwards, make sure to head over to my channel and go ahead and watch that stream too. We're going to talk about the stuff we talked about here. We're also going to talk about the new stuff. Anyway, though, guys, for now, goodbye from the Change Project.